This is your teacher speaking. As I am away on a business trip, I do believe that I gotta make this video in order to give you clearer instruction on your grammar research project. Now in this video, I'm gonna talk about firstly the research topics, then some writing guidelines as well as your deadline and my marking criteria for your product. Let's start with the research topics. The topic that you choose would be one of the topics that we discussed during our class presentations, including tenses, passive voice, conditionals, and blah blah blah, as you can see on the screen. Make sure that you choose a topic that is related to one of these bigger terms. If you choose another one that is outside these themes, please consult me first. Writing guidelines. In order to help you produce a best research paper, now I'm going to talk about a research paper approach, how you can properly write it from different perspectives, and then the research paper format, the forms, structure, frame, the number of sources, how many books are required, the list, and finally reference guides. How do you cite somebody else's work? Now to the research paper approach. There are basically two kinds of approaches that you can choose. You can either do a descriptive paper or a comparative paper. With a descriptive paper, your job is to write intensively about a topic with careful analysis. Remember, careful analysis with examples of the language, discussion of different viewpoints regarding that particular point of grammar. For a comparative paper, your job is to compare a certain grammar point between two languages, e.g. between Vietnamese and English, or Chinese with English, or French and English, blah blah blah, if you think you can do it, with analysis and examples, of course. So for the descriptive paper, it's more like a deep study into the language itself, and it requires deeper thinking, of course, and a greater depth of knowledge involved. It actually would be more difficult. The comparative paper, on your part, would be easier to conduct because you have the strength of Vietnamese as well as your command of the English language. Combined together, that enables you to do a comparative paper in the easiest way possible. Research paper format. Your paper would contain these chapters. First, to start with, there will be a cover. I'll send you the cover sample later on, but it's going to be very simple. An abstract at the beginning of research paper. What is an abstract? Basically, an abstract is something very abstract about what you will write. The abstract will not be written before you carry out the research, but after you've done it. The abstract summarizes all of your main ideas as well as the implications. After the abstract comes the table of contents. We all know how to do this from Microsoft Office Word. Chapter 1 is the introduction to your research topic. Chapter 2 is your main content, and then chapter 3 is reserved for implication. By implications, I mean how you can possibly apply the knowledge that you discuss in your paper to your own future teaching career, or to somebody else's career, or to your students, or to the field of translation or interpretation, blah blah blah. Finally, references. Citation of the sources that you use during your research process. As for the number of sources, I require from 5 to 10 sources of academic materials, with at least 2 books on grammar and some other sources probably on the internet, some articles or websites. I think you can manage with that. And for referencing, in order to properly cite a source, I recommend you Google APA referencing format. There's loads of information. Try to read it, and while we write the research paper, I will consult you with this kind of API throughout the whole process, so don't worry. If there's any questions, just feel free to ask me, but make sure you read the information first. Regarding the deadline, this week is week number 5 already, and I believe we should get started as soon as possible. Send me your outline from now until week number 7. Make sure that in your outline you give me enough information. I'll show you the outline sample later on. Without an outline, it would be kind of difficult to proceed with the draft and then the final product. Send me the first draft on week number 10. I'll correct it, give it back to you, and then you send me the second draft on week number 13. The final product will be submitted on week number 15. And remember, your final product is a 1500 word paper, not including the references. It may sound a little long, but it's actually not when you have actually started writing. Now for our marking criteria, this is what you love most. Contents account for 50 points, writing account for 30 points, and referencing accounts for 20 points. In contents, I assign 10 points for clarity, how clearly you express your ideas. Depth of knowledge accounts for 20 points in this field of contents. Show me that you have read intensively and extensively into the grammar point that you have decided to carry out research on. Appropriate examples will offer you 10 points, and logical implications at the end of the writing give you another 10 points. For writing, accuracy accounts for 15%, so try not to make silly mistakes. Grammar, structural, vocabulary, spelling, or any kinds of mistake at all. Cohesion and coherence accounts for 50 points. I'm sorry, that word should be coherence, not the two cohesion together. By cohesion and coherence, I mean your writing should be logically connected by cohesive devices, conjunctions, and sentence adverbs. Make sure that there is a smooth transition between paragraphs, right? And of course, what you write has to make sense. And don't try to be lengthy. Be condensed and involve enough details in what you write. For referencing, sufficient sources will give you 10 points. If you offer me less than 5 sources, then you won't get any points. From 5 to 10 sources, that accounts for 10 points already, but yeah. And accuracy of referencing style will offer you another 10 points. That's the APA referencing format. Now for the outline. What I want you to write in the outline is very simple. In one page, give me your research topic, which should be a clearly stated title, not a sentence, but a title like a phrase. Cover all of your main points and the supporting ideas. And your core references should also be included. Simple, isn't it? Within one page. It doesn't have to be one page long, but it has to be inside one page. So I've just discussed with you about the research topics and writing guidelines, deadline, and marking criteria. Any questions you can ask me on the next time we meet. Remember, send me the outline on week number 7. See ya!